Good morning, one and all, and welcome to this fantastic Tuesday morning, wherever you are in the world, or afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are, on this 11th of August. And today I wanted to talk with you all about having fun in the Matrix. What does that mean? What does it look like? And just a bit of visionaries to help you kind of understand how we can have fun in the Matrix once we break down these layers of illusion. So we're surrounded constantly, aren't we, ladies and gents, by talk of being in the Matrix, not being able to escape the Matrix. The Matrix totally encapsulates us. We can't escape. We're here forever. We're soul trapped, etc., etc., etc. But there's one key component amongst all of this journey, which so many people miss, and that is the ability to have fun in the Matrix, right? Because we're not here just to obviously work 9 to 5 and go through all the programs and algorithms and stuff like that I showed yesterday. Well, I was breaking a lot of them down and giving examples. If you missed yesterday's live, you can watch it back on any of my YouTubes or X or Facebook, where I was breaking down sort of programs and how they keep our heads, our minds in a box of illusion. And the reason why that occurs is to keep us fully plugged into the Matrix, right? And I give examples of just go to the supermarket or just go downtown, any town centre in the UK, and you can literally see like the Matrix and like most people plugged in full flow. So if you're seeing all of this, know that your mind is already working within higher realms. You're breaking through all these veils of illusion, and you're stepping into a greater life. Like as you step through these veils of illusion or peel them away, or whatever way you want to look at it, you're then opening up greater, deeper aspects of yourself, your senses, your gifts, and all the other things that come online that are very much to do with your soul mission here on earth. Deeper knowings, deeper understandings, deeper ancient wisdom. And when we start understanding more about our mission, we realize the keys and codes that we all hold within us. The Matrix, the programmers, the architects, the controllers know who we are. Okay, that's why it's so important for many of us to go through the birth process in a hospital. So our DNA is collected, that it's then sent away. We have all our they go deep into our past lives. They want to know what our missions are. Many people who are watching and listening to this might have suffered death at birth, you know what I mean, or pronounced dead. I know there's people like I know very well who are very, very powerful beings who were pronounced dead at birth, but they weren't. You know, we've all been through these sequence of events in our own ways. And it's also why we're born on the exact date that we're supposed to be born and the exact time we're supposed to be born. And even goes deep as to what was the #1 song that they were born, what were the cartoons you watched when you were a kid, like all this kind of stuff, which is all part of our remembrance for us, because obviously we come here with amnesia, right? That's like the first rule of the game. You can come play the game, you start off with amnesia, which is what we've all experienced. Obviously, throughout our entire life, we're going through this awakening process to who we truly are. Okay, we're not born on this planet to be charged carbon tax, to pay ridiculous fake bills in a fake jurisdiction to corporations. Okay, we're none of that. Like we've all battled and lived and endured many years in those realms, but a lot of that has been for our training for now. Okay, it's all planned. So when you see other people like myself or a lot of other people saying like, "Oh, trust the plan, trust the plan," it's not to get in a heated argument about whether Q's a psyop or not. It absolutely is a psychological operation. It's a military psychological operation that's designed to wake certain individuals up and actually enhance their decoding abilities. Okay, a lot of these people are actually ex-military, including myself. So, but that's not for everybody, right? That's like people are going around the country doing light work, anchoring in energies, working with crystals and doing healing and all this kind of stuff. The military intelligence is not in their template. They don't need it for their mission. So we go through all these periods of training throughout our whole life, like as part of our awakening. So what's the plan behind all that? Like, how does it work? Well, I've just done this little diagram here for you. And if you're just joining us, just drop a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I always like to see where people are tuning in from. I know this is later in the day in Australia, and obviously I appreciate people are at work and etc. And everything in the UK. But just drop a note where you're watching from, and let us know like how this is all resonating with you. This is really important as well. So I've done this little diagram here. Here's my mate Keith, right? So Keith's born into this world, a background character like lots of other people, you know, like we all are. We're all some kind of some kind of NPC at some point of our life, right? But my mate Keith here, he's got 7 layers of illusion, okay, over the third eye. So we've got a third eye here, okay, and then we've got 7 layers of illusion, which is basically shadowing Keith's ability to connect fully to source, where the organic template is, and all the truths and histories and your mission, etc., etc. So when we're channeling, we are the channel, not getting channeled from somewhere else or by somebody else. When we're channeling through our body, our conduit, like pure God source energy, okay, higher realms of wisdom, intuition, and knowings, okay, we come up with 7 layers of illusion over the third eye. All right, so the 7 layers of illusion over the third eye is pretty much where a lot of people are at and basically experience life. So while someone has these 7 layers of illusion over the third eye is blocked, right? So the intuition isn't working properly. The crown chakra, the crown is not activated. So that person isn't connecting to what we call piezoelectric current, which basically comes out of the head like that. So anybody who meditates a lot or does breath work or sits with plant medicines, whatever that may be, you often get a sensation where you feel like the crown and the head's opening, and it creates this piezoelectric current, which is you from all the way up the 33 vertebrae in your spine into the 33 chambers in your pineal gland, is then connecting to source energy, creating this powerful conduit. All right, so the matrix's job is to try and keep as many layers of illusion, okay, over the third eye as possible. This is why we have such a large vaccine schedule. And obviously, literally yesterday, I think it was, Trump announced like the eradication of most of the vaccines in America. The vaccine program was 72 for children. I mean, come on, like what were our ancient ancestors doing before these pharmaceutical interventions? Do you know what I mean? So that vaccine schedule itself, like, to every child who goes through that process, is going to get hammered right from an early age and have 7 layers of illusion over their third eye from a child. Same goes for here in the UK. You know, they're so quick to try and inject every single child with every single thing going under the threat of fear of getting a virus or a dis-ease from somewhere else. Okay, and it's the same in every country. So the inoculation schedules, the stuff in the food, the stuff in the water, the left brain indoctrinated information that's belt fed to all children at school, like all of that, right? Create and not being brought up by your own parents, sat there in schools, going into conformity, going into brainwashing to be a good employee, etc., etc. All of that creates and builds those 7 layers of illusion over time, over the third eye. Now, many of you watching will have noticed in the last 6 to 12 months, the amount of children who are round about sort of 9 and under, roughly, are coming out of all these things, coming out with this wisdom. They're speaking their truths, okay, because they haven't endured decades of poisoning and calcification of the third eye. Okay, and I've seen this time and time again over many courses I've ran online, and especially like in the earlier days, like 2023 era, where there was a lot of people that would attend my courses because they were seeing the world for what it is. But when it comes to the meditation and stuff like that and the breath work, at first they found it a little difficult, and it's because of the calcification of the third eye, and the layers of illusion that have been placed over them through decades of work stress, toxins, etc., right? So it's not something that just goes bang, happens overnight, and these 7 layers of illusion just disappear. So the 7 layers of illusion disappear when you're doing your inner work. So as you are getting into meditation, and whatever form that may be, it doesn't have, you don't have to sit there on a fucking rock on a cliff with a gown on and a staff, right? It's literally you going inwards to do the inner work. That could be walking meditations. That could be playing golf on your own, like my son does, right? That's his version of it. It could be lots of different ways, whatever suits you. But the main goal is whatever that is, it removes these layers of illusion. So you consistently are walking around day to day with an open mind. Okay. You see the threats coming from all angles. You basically see all the agendas. You see how all the agendas work in coherence with each other. You see how all the programs work in coherence with each other. You can totally understand the mind control, and you can understand all of its purpose, right? Which all funnels back basically to who you are and how powerful you are, and that you are the #1 character in your story, that the matrix in whatever way, shape or form is programmed to is to slow you down and stop you using your gifts. Okay, it's not about stopping you escaping the matrix, all right, because we don't escape the matrix. It's not about that. It's about becoming the matrix. So just like Neo shows you in the Matrix movie, towards the end he says no, right? He goes no, and then all of a sudden all the bullets freeze. Well, those bullets represent all the things from the matrix that are designed to hammer our light, chip away at us, put us into low vibration, keep us under the veils of illusion, and keep us running on the matrix's program. It's to draw us back into it. But when he says no and fully takes his power back, takes his sovereignty back, takes his body autonomy back, all of it, okay, that's what each of those bullets represent, all of those things. Says no, and they all fall away. And then if you remember, he then dives into the main agent, right? The hub of the core of this Archon agent technology, this AI, and he becomes the matrix, and then it can't handle it, so it self-implodes. Okay, and this is exactly what this is. This is exactly what we're doing. We're peeling back all the veils of illusion that the matrix has placed upon us. We're doing all the inner work, so then these veils start disappearing, right? Now, all of a sudden, Keith is like, holy crap, I can see the world for what it is. Right? I can see the media that completely lies to us and manipulates us and programs our mind. I can see that all the food in our supermarkets is sprayed with stuff, or it's got rapeseed oils in, or it's heavily poisoned with loads of artificial elements, all put into our food, because how else would they attack us, like, and dumb us down and make us sick and keep us in the matrix? I can see that, like, there's so much crap in my water, you know, our life force that we need, whether it's to actually hydrate or even bathe in, clean and wash, right? You're seeing that everything that you're paying for is actually fake and made up to keep you in the matrix. The insurances are all fake, right? That the banking system's just a cartel. That you don't actually own anything that you think you own. You don't own your house, okay? When you go to an estate agent, okay, that estate agent, willingly or unwillingly, is selling you, okay, deeds and a contract, all right? Deeds and a contract. They're not selling you the bricks and mortar, all right? They're selling you deeds and a contract, all right? And then you register with a land registry, which then means the land registry owns your house. They own the land. They don't care about the bricks and mortar on top that you're paying monthly mortgage to, and sometimes ridiculously over the amounts, especially a lot of these new builds, right? So when you go see an estate agent, you're going to visit an agent of the state, okay? So when we remove all these veils of illusion, right, bosh, we've then got this beautiful channel that we've created, right? This is where all the downloads start coming in, like that. you start receiving codes into your actual body. Okay, it's not always about just coming into the head. It's coming into your body and into your field, because your DNA is activated at a much larger scale, much higher rate. Okay, and then you're suddenly starting to go from your 2-strand base DNA, okay, into your higher strands of DNA and reconnecting with your 12-strand DNA. And this is where we get the whole 144 thing from, because of the triple helix. It goes like that. Obviously 12 by 12 is 144. Okay, and then you start activating the 144 frequency codes in you. It's not like there's a special group of 144,000 here exactly that's here to do a special mission, and some people didn't quite qualify. It's not about that at all. It's the 144 frequency codes in us, right? Which is what the matrix and all the systems are trying to, and have been trying to, keep dormant, right? This is why, since the planet's ascension started in 2012, why we've seen a massive uprising in immigration, attacks, massive amounts of increase of poisons that have come into our field, right? All the vaping. Okay, so the vapes calcify the pineal gland, therefore anchoring in layers of illusion over the third eye. That's why the whole agenda to get as many kids on vapes has happened, and we're seeing it in full flow, right? Kids need a toilet pass at school to go for a freaking piss in their prison camps because of the amount of kids that are vaping in the toilets, right? So the school solution is to ban going for a pee, instead of actually educating people on actually the damages that the vapes are actually doing. Right, this is the part of the agenda, and why there's vape shops on every freaking corner or every other shop now, because they want maximum people sucking on these chemicals which calcify the pineal gland and shut people off from source. Okay, affects the blood-brain barrier. 70% of toxins are expelled from the body through the lungs. All right, what do you think the vapes affect? The lungs. It's to disconnect your breath and you fully and your potential from source. All right, so if you have children that are doing this, or your children have gone down this route, show them this clip in this video, all right, and show them that what they're doing is absolutely blocking their gifts, and their gifts show, and your gifts show you a much brighter world than the one that's full of all the programs that's trying to keep you plugged in. Okay, so we have vapes. I mentioned vaccines earlier. Vaccines are another one of the biggest causes. Okay, they're designed to damage the blood-brain barrier, and then which affects the pineal gland, inside the middle of your head. Okay, so again, shutting you off from source. Okay, this is probably why many of you who know people who have had 4, 5, however many of the COVID shots, their mind has got like warped. Okay, it's like it's not their thoughts that come out of their mouth. Okay, it's like they're being controlled, like they're completely dumbed down. And you only have to go to most town centers now and just observe. Okay, and when we're saying that most places represent Zombieville right now, it's because the minds of millions have been warped. They've been cut off from source, and that's the whole point of coronavirus. Corona is your crown. Okay, so their virus of your crown, to stop you reconnecting to source, claiming your dominion back, your kingdom. So your king, your crown, and your dominion. Okay, your dom, is stop you reclaiming your kingdom. And this is where I explain to people the analogy of the Game of Thrones, because this is exactly what it is. It's a Game of Thrones. It's you reclaiming your crown, not a dodgy flat top haircut, your crown to your dominion. Okay, so you are Jon Snow in this story, where Jon Snow is the black sheep of the family. Okay, he again goes on massive trials, tribulations, ups and downs, highs and lows. He goes through a death and rebirth. Okay, he then finds and connects to his dragon. He then finds and connects with his twin flame, who opens up and cracks open all the other aspects of him to then reclaim his kingdom, okay, and his crown and the Iron Throne. So that's what the story of a Game of Thrones is all about. It's about you reclaiming the Iron Throne in your dominion and reclaiming your kingdom. So when we've actually released and cut away, however you want to best describe it, okay, or we push through and we break down those layers of illusion, we see things clearly. All right, we have real eyes. Okay, we realize how everything around us is an illusion and it's been placed upon us. We realize that we are the dreamer in a dream, okay? And we are the Truman, we are Jon Snow, we are Simba, we are all these characters in the movies that we've all sat and watched, right? That's just messages that we've put there to show us our journey home, okay? Home, 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 oh, me. Home is where the heart is. The heart is where we project our reality through, okay? So not only has it been important to create the veils of illusion over the third eye, it's also been massively important to shut the heart, especially of men. Okay, so you shut the heart of people, you're forcing them into living in the base 3 chakras, right? So it's all low level states of emotion, fear, apathy, guilt, shame, and then people just go on this whole journey of self-sabotage for years and years and years, okay? Drilling themselves into the ground, intoxicating themselves to the max, because and they don't reach their potential, you know, and then people die, and then we always use that, you know, people have had that saying for years, most of the best ideas live in the graveyards, because there's a lot of truth to that. So when we break free from all of this, okay, we feel it in the body, all right? You'll probably get a lot of ear ringing because you're getting a lot of spiritual downloads and codes that we all need to make sure that we're taking the time to actually integrate into the body, okay? And because it's connecting to our mission, all right? So we don't get it. It's not important to not suddenly get ear ringing, get maybe little visions, sudden gnosis and ideas and all this kind of stuff, and then rush out the door and try and implement them. Like, it's part of this journey is to actually take our time with this and actually allow it to integrate in the body. And having sat through many plant medicine ceremonies and held space for many ceremonies, I know the importance of this more than most, of the integration of these codes we're receiving. Okay, so we're all receiving codes in our own way. Okay, it's waking up many parts of the third eye, the crown, connection to source, connection to ancestors, connection to loved ones, maybe. I've had some of the most beautiful experiences with my mother coming in, experiences I never experienced in the physical, you know, so I'm going to fucking take it all with it, you know, with every ounce. But what I wanted to discuss around all this is actually how we have them fun in the Matrix. So if we use a day-to-day routine for most people, right, which involves getting up in the morning, doing a bit of a morning routine, either going to work or whatever you may do, but it often involves things like going to the shops or needing to go to town, or putting your foot very much back into the 3D realms. So when we do this, it's really important that we see it for what it is, and we don't get caught up in it, and we don't beat ourselves up, and we don't get angry about it. And I'm saying this from experience because I went through quite a period, and I'm sure many of you have as well, where I go into town, I'll be like, fucking state of everyone, what is going on? Everyone looks sick, everyone looks battered. Like, I've never seen so many fat kids in my life. Like everyone's just dead behind the eyes. And it's just like, oh my God, I can't go anywhere without seeing this. Like, I went through that period as well. Excuse me, let's go have some nettle tea. And I'm sure many of you gone for that period. So drop a comment if you've been for that period as well, or you're in that period right now. Because it is a bit of a rough time, because we've all got big hearts and we've all got a love for humanity, and we can clearly see the social engineering that has happened and the war that's been waged on humanity because we've got open eyes, right? So it can release a lot of anger, a lot of pain, a lot of resentment, you know, to the systems, to the government, to the big pharma, to big food, all this kind of stuff, because we're seeing the results and the impact it's had on humanity and how it's all works together and designed to keep people like in these states, right? But we need to flip it like we do with everything, right? Everything's an inversion. So anything that's inverted, you can clearly see is for a reason. So we need to start having fun with it instead. So I'll give you a few examples of how I do this. So I'm going to go to the supermarket today. I know I need to go. I said, but when I go there, I know I'm going to see all the programs running on full thing because I've been speaking it out loud as well. So my reality is going to reflect that. So I've been taking you guys through like morning like lessons and talks, and I've been speaking it out loud about what to expect in a supermarket and the programs you can see. So I know I'm going to see that later because I'm projecting that into my reality. But what I'll do is I'll have fun with it. So I've got this little game I play with myself, which is basically I want to acquire something free every single day. So I'll play with that and just let it flow however it needs to flow. And every day I always get something free, whether it's online or whether I go to a shop. I acquire something free in that period every single day because of the mindset that I'm putting into that reality. Also, when I'm in the shops, I sometimes wear my not these ones because I've got the wires on, but I've got like a proper radio frequency earpiece that I can use to connect to calls and stuff like that. That doesn't hammer me with EMFs and stuff, right? Sometimes I put it in and I'm walking around and I'm looking and I'll just go right, and I'll just walk through people really slowly, and I'll be listening to music, but I'll pretend I'm talking to a mate, and I'll be like, "Yeah, bro, have you seen like what's going on in the news at the minute? All these doctors are probably look like they're going to get charged." Because what's going on in America with that Dr. Fauci and how they've all lied about the COVID jabs and stuff like that. And suddenly you see people's heads go, the people who resonate, okay, the people who are on a certain frequency, those words activate things in people. So that I can see people looking and I'm like, yeah, mate, at the end of the day, I wouldn't want to be a doctor right now, especially after all the money they made on people's health during COVID, contracts and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just casually doing my shopping, just talking about it. And you can see it's like activating things in people. Likewise, the people who work at Tesco, for example, I'm always very nice to them, very polite, and I'll see most of them wear badges, and some of them have badges on that say "proud part of the team since 1988." I shit you not. So I'm like, well, these people are clearly background characters, want for a better word. They're very nice, very polite, and I always try and have a chat with them. There's this one particular lad, and I hope sometime he watches this. His name's, funny enough, Keith. And as a family, we've actually got into the habit now of purposely seeking Keith out. He's a really nice guy. He's really fat, right? And that's not a judgment. He's really fat, really unhealthy, right? And he's actually quite young. I've learned actually from conversations with him, he's a bit of a gamer and stuff like that. So he doesn't really get out and do lots of exercise. I mean, and he even, like when he scans your shopping, he scans it across his belly, right? Which for me makes it funnier. And we've even come to the conclusion now as a family that we should actually try and organise a Save Keith campaign outside Tesco's because of the conversations we've had with him. So I've said to him, like, how long have you been here? And he's like, oh, 12 years now. And I'm like, really? I'm like, you never fancy a change in career? And he's like, oh, no, I've got a mortgage now. There's no way I could change jobs. And I'm like, wow. So like you can see the programming and the manipulation of the mind in his responses, right? And at every point, I'm not judging. I'm literally taking in this information and actually working out the clear and obvious programming and manipulation of the mind. And that same thing is repeated in the masses all across this country, all across America, Canada, USA, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, everywhere, right? The Western world, where this level of matrix architecture, e.g., big tech, big food, big pharma, all this stuff needs to be propped up by these people. So I'm having this conversation with them, and we're just like, wow, we need to help this guy out. And this is what I mean about having fun with it. We shouldn't just go like, what? Are you serious, mate? Get a life. Wake up, will ya? Wake up. You don't need a mortgage. Mortgage is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're not here to teach people about all of this stuff, like at the spur of the moment there and then on these points. All of that is actually for our understanding, our personal understanding. There's specialist people like the Sovereign Project, who I'm doing a 2-day conference with next month on the 5th and 6th of September. That's role is for that, to teach individuals about the depths, because it is such a big subject, the depths of that side of sovereignty, right? It's not our job to just say to random people in supermarkets, stuff like that, like, you need to do this, you need to do this, we've got to do this, blah, 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 blah. But we actually have a deeper impact on these people by showing them compassion and actually giving them thoughtful, truthful, and positive comments, and maybe a little bit of advice or a tiny little seed that then sparks something for the next time that you see them. So like he was talking about gaming and stuff like that, and I mentioned something about the Epstein files, and he's like, whoa, yeah, I saw something about that, because I'm like, the guy's glued to the TV. I saw something about that. And he goes, yeah, I think I'm going to sit and have a think about that, like what this is all about. He's just saying these words to me. It's because I've created that space and an opportunity for him to be in my field and receive all these little activations, and it's suddenly opening his mind slightly, and then just leave it at that. I don't need to push it. I don't need to do anything. So, because I know the next time I go to Tesco or the next time I'm in there and the kids are all like, "Oh, where's Keith?" and we go and see him, we're literally approaching his desk in high vibration, our field's in high vibration. So all of a sudden it's like, wow, his eyes are opening. And that's what I mean about having fun with the matrix. Like when we've removed these veils of illusion, when we've got this piezoelectric coming in, when we're feeling energy within the body, when we're alchemizing it and we know we're doing it, right? Our field is so expanded, right? It's activating the fields of other people. That's how we wake people up, not shaking them, going, "You fucking stupid NPC moron," blah, 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 right? That doesn't wake anybody up, including people in your family. It's when we're in high vibration, we've literally peeled through the layers of illusion. We're connected to source through the spine, heaven to earth, right? And we are that conduit. Our field will naturally, like that. So instead of negative AI in our field, which is then creating distortion and dis-ease in the body, which is one of the reasons why the COVID shots were brought out, that technology, we've got a clear field which is full of wisdom, knowledge, knowings, like part of your mission, soul family connections. Like that person you're speaking to could actually be part of your soul family. So it's like you're activating things with people. So when you know that you're in this state as a human being, you know you have this power, you know what you're about, you're going through all these processes yourself, start having fun with it. Start using your abilities. You're then being presented with opportunities in every environment going to use your gifts, guys. It's not about like for you to see another NPC being an NPC. You're actually being placed in a position where your powerful energy needs to be anchored in, and for you to use your gifts every single day. So when we flip the script in our mind, okay, we flip the script in our mind and we go into each day, into each experience with this mindset that we're actually being given an opportunity daily to use our gifts now. And the more we use them, the more they come online. We're activating the fields and things within other people at every given moment, right? That eye contact and that smile to somebody that suddenly, catches your gaze makes a massive difference. And you can play around with it and just have fun. And I will give you an example. Like me and little Harry, he's only 13. He's very much into a lot of the stuff around geometry and the universe and heroes and powers and gifts and the land and stuff like that, and the cathedral. So we've been to Lincoln Cathedral a lot, and it's a very, very powerful place. And everybody I take there gets quite deep activations. And sometimes we go in and then we'll come outside and I'll tap someone on the shoulder and I'll be like, "Excuse me, can you confirm where this is?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, it's Lincoln Cathedral." And then we'll be like, "Yes, yes, we've done it. We've teleported from Salisbury Cathedral." And then we like run off, and you could just see all these people like, "What the fuck?" Like, but all we've done, we've had a bit of fun in the Matrix, right? And we've suddenly opened and sparked people's minds to the possibility of teleportation. See what I mean? Yes, it might be a bit far-fetched, a bit of a jump for some people, but the right people hear what you need to say. Sometimes we test and play around with it as well. We've got our annual passes, and we'll go to the front desk, and we'll just test how observant the workers are there. And we both just show them our passes, and we'll say something like along the lines of, just Agent Mulder and Scully, we're just here to check out the portals room. And then they'll either say, "Portals, what?" and start asking us questions, or they'll be, "Okay, go on then." So it's like it just doesn't resonate. So again, that's a really good little things like this and little examples I'm sharing with you is how you can test and play around with where people are at, where environments are at. Like just testing the vibe. This is all part of having fun in the Matrix. All right, just seeing if people even see you. you know, because we can put a cloak, an invisible cloak around us, just like Harry Potter shows us, right? As another part of everybody's gifts is the ability to be able to cloak up, almost. One of our community members was saying on the call last night about putting a wetsuit on, like, so you're literally unseen, and you can have fun with this all. So I wanted to share with you today just some of those examples, the power of removing the veils of illusion over the third eye, to give you a bit of education on the 7 layers of illusion over the third eye, and actually what we can create when we remove those veils, and we can actually activate the removal of the veils in so many other people just from them being in our field. So that's part of us being a trooper, a soldier, a light worker, you know, whatever it may be you want to call ourselves, angels of light. That's what we're all here for, to spread light, right? So try being more in that mindset going forward. You'll feel so much better in yourself. You'll feel so much better in your body. You'll have so much better experience than just walking around angry and aggressive and just fed up with what you're seeing and nothing changing. That message in itself is that we have to be the change. It's up to us. We have to be the change. If you want to see change in your reality, you have to become the change. And by injecting, excuse the pun, as much positivity, love, and joy and bliss states into every experience that we have, not only are we having the best human experience, we're doing what we're here to do, which is helping others. Okay, we are all people of service in our own different ways, and you know, and that's what that's the trajectory we need to try and stay on, ladies and gents. So I hope this was a bit of an educational tool for you. Please go and have some fun in the Matrix now. Message me over the next few days about what you've experienced and how you've had a laugh and a joke with it all, and seen it being reciprocated to you, okay, by the energy of others. I'm going to be doing a meditation tomorrow night as well, ladies and gents. I've been getting a lot of messages and downloads of my meditation after my experiences at the weekend running my course, to do with my own role basically. But I'm going to run a meditation tomorrow night about raising our frequency. At the moment, we are sitting at around collectively about 75.1 hertz, as the 144 frequency holders that are around the world. We need to elevate ourselves to 76 hertz, which is what's going to activate the big things that are coming that a lot of people are waiting for. I've been getting a lot of messages about this, personal messages, and through my grandfather. So this is all very, very important. The dark archonic matrix had locked itself in at 33.3 hertz, funny enough, another inversion, and that's why we've been seeing reminiscence of the of dark energies and really dark powers waging war on us still at this point up until this day. You'll see a lot of influencers are literally, it's like they've completely changed persona. They're a completely different person, and they're just attacking anybody who's got a platform, programs where they have lots of followers, and they've got big missions, and they're of potentially in a powerful twin flame union relationship, which comes with very, very strong power and missions, right? These archonic this iconic mind virus has literally been affecting the minds of lots of people, people you know, and have probably seen online. So that shows us we're at the tail end now of everything, and it's because this archonic energy, which predominantly in England has been the hub of it is in the south in the New Forest. That's why we did a lot of work there, and the course was run there on the 8th of the 8th. And then that was also a festival going on in there as well with loads of light workers. This has all happened at the same time. Subsequently enough, there's certain influencers that live in that area who have massively been affected by this archonic energy. That's basically been slashed. And I think what we're going to see now is the reminiscence of lots of very quick ego deaths as we ascend into these higher frequencies, which is when we then step into the more crystalline and quantum realms, quantum in our capacity as these human beings, as these avatars, as whatever you want to call it, they're all here on a mission, all of us. So have a think about that today, ladies and gents, about where you feel you are and your role and your mission on this planet. Put more of thought into that, meditate on that, okay? Because it will all start flooding in, because this energy's collapsed. We've all done the work. you guys, us, our community, people that are going to doing all this stuff based on deep knowings. And that's why so many downloads and information and visions and everything's happening for people right now. Okay, because it's making us step into our mission fully. All right, and that comes with ego death from all our old lives. I've basically said goodbye and had to let go of my complete whole old life this weekend. That means my old marriage, my family, who's still very much in loops and fear and just keep trying to drag me back in. My old military life. I spent the weekend in Tidworth, where I used to be based. Drove across Salisbury Plain with Becky and things like that, and it was clearly to completely remove all that old life from my cycles and story, if that makes sense. So maybe tap into that today as much as you can. Where do you see yourself in this story? Where do you see yourself and your mission? And just allow to receive as well, because these are the times we're in. We don't need to be focusing on anything's happening on the news. We need to be focusing on anything's happening in governments or politics or anything like that. Okay, the dragon energy in this country is now fully locked in. I can assure you of that. So let's all tap into these energies now and start bringing our gifts online. The veil, if you're watching this, pretty much I guarantee the veils of illusion in your own experience have been removed. All right, so let's start playing with our gifts and having fun in this matrix and do what we've came here to do. And if you want to join me on any of my other courses, just visit our website, missionconsciousness.com, or if you'd like to join us in Portugal in September or even next year and start planning for your trips with us in April, June and September next year, everything's on our website. Likewise, if you want to catch up on any of the previous lives I've done over the since last week, they're all on my Facebook, my YouTube and my X channels. So there's something for everyone. I've got to go now, ladies and gents, because I've got a very boring 3D task to sort out because I've got a plumb around. We still have to play this game. But let's see what conversations come out of it. You never know. Enjoy the rest of your day, ladies and gentlemen. Stay sovereign, and I'll see you tomorrow, where I'm going to talk deeply about memory. Very important subject. Much love, ladies and gents.